Today's guest is Vyom Bhatia, an 18-year-old machine learning engineer at Koo India. He's one of the coolest person I have ever met on LinkedIn. In this episode, Vyom talks about machine learning, artificial intelligence, his exciting projects and internships, and his LinkedIn journey. Why not? He has around 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. So, this is Vyom Bhatia on Canopy Pod. We believe in delving deep into the unknown. Hey Vyom, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. What about you?
I'm perfectly fine. So, man, did I just pronounce your name properly? Is it Vyom
Like,
or Vyom? Like,
I mean, if you pronounce it Vyom, I'll be fine. If you pronounce it Vyom, I'll be fine because majority of my childhood I've been bullied as by calling Vyom. It's not Vyom, it's Vyom. So I personally prefer Vyom, but otherwise you can just call me whatever you want.
so you know what? I created my LinkedIn account a couple of months ago, and using it now. Like I'm
Okay.
active in it on now. So one day LinkedIn suggested me a post that was yours, grabbed the attention of my eyes. So I went through the post, and it was like awesome. Okay, I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember the post what exactly it
Okay.
was because
Okay.
you post a lot of cool stuff every day. So yeah, what does it actually mean? Your
It means infinity. I mean, that's what I tell everyone, and they just believe me.
name?
But it actually means sky. It means antariksh. It means space.
Page, page.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So flipping into our podcast, man, I just divided this podcast into two sections. One is how it started, like your journey and all, and how it is
Mhm.
going. So,
Okay.
like just a typical monotonous icebreaker for like undergrads meeting for the first time
Two
online.
bros meeting for the first time. Two freshers at due meeting for the first time. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, what were your subjects in high school, higher secondary school? Like,
My subjects.
I expect to be PCM.
No, no way.
What?
No. I did not have PCM. I had humanities with maths, and maths was completely, absolutely just, it just happened for no good reason. I wasn't going to have maths either. For the
Oh my
first two
God,
weeks of,
dude! Like
yeah,
exceptional. I thought you were some science or engineering dude, like doing machine learning
no
stuff.
man. No man.
Like,
I mean, anyone can do machine learning. It doesn't really depend on the degree or the stream which you have, right?
yeah.
I had history, I had geography, I had psychology, and of course English. And these were the five subjects I had during the first 2 weeks. And after the first 2 weeks of my 11th grade, I switched to maths. I had to like take out psychology. I had to put in maths because apparently my parents thought that having psychology just cuts down on the scope that I'll ever get a job in my life. So they're like, take maths. You'll get a better job. I'm like, fine, I'll take maths.
So awesome. So do you regret it anytime? Like, why did I choose arts over
Nah,
science? Something.
no.
No. Awesome. Like I
I mean,
read. Yeah.
okay.
Go ahead.
So the background that I come from, it's almost like parents saying IIT, 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 right? Imagine being in eighth grade and being taken to VMC's office, local office in Faridabad, and being asked that, hey, can this eighth grade student give test to sit at Vidya Mandir coaching? And we were like, no, he's in eighth grade. He can't do that. Come next year. And the next year, my parents asked me in ninth grade, Vyom, do you want to go for IIT coaching for engineering? I'm like, next year. They're like, fine, next year. And as it went on in the 11th grade, I just took humanities. So that was hilarious.
So my story is little contrast to yours, man. Like I only opted for science because of two reasons. One is my parents told me that if you choose science now, you will have flexibility later. You can go into like every course you want. Then second thing is I scored very less marks in my 10th grade, especially less in social than math. So I wasn't able to
say to my parents that I will choose commerce or arts. So yeah, I love to read economics and stuff. But yeah, no regrets now. Same as you, I'm kind of loving computers now. So your LinkedIn headline says that you are a machine learning developer. So like,
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
like, what is machine learning all about at the first place? First.
Machine learning is all about high school maths, like the maths we were taught in 11th and 12th grade. That's it. It's like just knowing some basic formulas and knowing how to code in Python. That's more than sufficient to get you started in machine learning.
So
The
like
bar is
how?
set pretty low. It just sounds really, really massive and really scary. It's not scary at all. It's very easy.
No, I'm saying like how it works. I just know it as machine learning is something that Google search engine uses or something. I just know. So can you give some lucid explanation about learning machine so that me as well as the listeners could understand this properly?
Some loose explanation on machine learning. It's almost like, you know, how we are giving we're coding up mathematical equations. More or less they're more or less related to statistics, right? But what if you have this algorithm, but you want to create a system of algorithms? You want to create a system of algorithms and you want them ki, hey, I do not know how to optimize you guys. Here's a problem that I have and I want you to solve this problem, but I can't optimize it for you. You have to optimize yourself. And they're like, fine, we'll train ourselves on it. So we train these models, these machine learning models on these problems. These problems are like very contrasting. They could be image classification, it could be text classification, like telling if this sentence is showing angry sentiment or happy sentiment. It could be differentiating between recyclable and non-recyclable images. It could be just predicting housing prices. Like if my house covers this much area, if I have two bathrooms, if it's 3 BHK, or if my kitchen has marble sink, or it has like wooden flooring, so how much would my house sell for? I mean, we humans can do it really well. We can do these things really well. But when you do it for it's like thousands of rows of data, right? And when these rows of data, these repetitions go from thousands, and you have these number of cases to take in account. Like, I know my house is this big, I know my house has this many kitchens, but what if I have like, say, 1 million features about it? I can't always like get the price right. So that's where machine learning comes in. It learns the patterns, it sees patterns, and it optimizes itself to give out better results that we can't always do. And I would like to conclude about machine learning saying it's very dumb. It's like awfully dumb, and it is like it's extremely specializing. Like, it can't do general stuff at all. It does very specific problems.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's some
that is it.
interesting thing. So I kind of hear machine learning and artificial intelligence together. So is there any distinction between two or something?
I mean, it's a very controversial topic. I tried posting more on my LinkedIn, saying, "Hey guys, I'll tell you about machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence." I was like, artificial intelligence is this one big circle, and in this one big circle, we have machine learning, and in this one big circle, under machine learning, we have deep learning, and along with deep learning is another big circle, which is reinforcement learning, right? Now, people got really pissed off. They had their own opinions, but from my perspective, I'd say that artificial intelligence is like the parent category of machine learning.
Okay, fine, amazing. You know, so could you tell me like how could I, as a beginner, can get into machine learning? Any kind of roadmap you wanna provide or something?
Okay, honestly, what I have thought of is that people go ahead in their own journeys and they try to do their own thing, right? And I started off with very basic courses on Coursera. I have like these links posted on my LinkedIn as well, on my profile. They're everywhere. If someone DMs me about it, I just straight up send them. I have it like pinned in my clipboard. This one course by Andrew Ng. It's called Machine Learning by Stanford. You don't know maths about machine learning, you don't know anything about machine learning, you take that course, you avoid this prehistoric language Andrew Ng, the instructor, teaches you in. It's called, the language is called Octave. and you just avoid all these programming assignments and just do the theory, you'll get a basic gist of what machine learning does, and you'll be surprised that the course was too long. You learned a lot, but most of the things that they teach you in there are outdated basics. They're like extremely basic stuff. Why are they outdated? Because we are having new research papers come up every few months. The rate at which research is exploding in machine learning and deep learning, it's crazy, right? But those basics, if you want to start, that course is best. Afterwards, I'd say that you could go to aicrowd.com or you could go to kaggle.com, and these two sites have amazing, beautiful, handcrafted challenges for you to solve. Now you'd ask, hey, I just did that course. How am I supposed to jump onto problems? You learn to code by looking at code, right? You copy code line by line. You take this approach of project oriented learning where you don't know anything, it's a black box to you, but as you get results you try to understand that, okay, if I say import numpy as np, it means I'm grabbing something from somewhere, because if I don't write it, it gives me an error. So that's how I specifically learned to code. It is a very it's a very hazardous manner, but at the end of the day it takes time, but it helps you learn a lot. And as you make these projects, you go ahead, you get into deep learning. For deep learning, there are more courses on Coursera. Deep learning specialization by Andrew Ng. Again, that man does an amazing job of teaching you about the main domains under deep learning. And it is computer vision, it is what is it called? Yeah, it's a natural language processing and semantic segmentation and all these stuff, and he teaches it very well. And as you go forward, after you learn machine learning, you repeat the process of training, getting to know how to code and train models. Since you know the maths behind it, and slowly you pick up your first research paper, you read that research paper, you grab it, and then you ask yourself, what did I gain from it? You watch a ton of YouTube videos, you learn PyTorch from YouTube, and so it goes on. You make these massive machine learning projects, and you put them up on LinkedIn, you put them up on Twitter, you put them up in your portfolio, and somebody someday will contact you like, hey, you do this, can you help us with this? And that's how the roadmap like takes off.
Fascinating. So, how did you get into machine learning, or how did you know this? How did you explore in kind of thing, machine learning?
How did I get into machine learning? It's actually a very hilarious story. I was supposed to give my geography board exam, but I just felt like lazy. I'm like, hey, COVID just happened. I mean, am I really supposed to learn anymore? Am I really supposed to study anymore? This one board exam these guys had, and they, just because there were 60 cases, they had to put a lockdown. They just had to mess things up for me. Well, fortunately, I didn't have to give that exam, since they just took the average of the best of two and they
Yeah.
did the whole thing. CBSE did that thing. And
Yeah.
I was really glad that I didn't have to give the test. But here's the thing, I had free time. I didn't know what to do, and I was pretty sure that I was going to fail in boards. And so I just picked up Python, thinking, hey, I have a very entrepreneurial idea. I'm going to go and sell these websites to these local shopkeepers after I learn how to code in Python. I was so freaking stupid. I did not know that I need to learn JavaScript and HTML and CSS in
HTML and
order to
CSS.
code the website. I need to know MongoDB. I need to know MySQL or SQLite in order to do all that stuff. And a month went on after I was done like reading about all this stuff. And guess what? I realized I can't do that anymore. Why, Vyom? Because websites already do that. Wix.com does that. GoDaddy does that for free, and they don't ask you to code up websites, right? Just give you a whole platform to arrange your website. Anyone can do that. My brain went like, but yeah, sure, they are not aware about it, so you can probably go and still sell them. But I just felt it was wrong. So I was like, what's the next worst thing I can do about it? Learn machine learning. Okay.
Cool.
It's hilarious. Like it was completely out of
It's
chance.
awesome, man.
If there was a
Actually,
way I could sell websites, I wouldn't be into machine learning at all.
yeah, but it is like something, what I did was nothing. I started watching a lot of movies, a lot of web series, and never did something productive. Or I never thought of learning something new. Wow, RCA Signa or something. I didn't even get that motivation. So yeah, as you now, like before you talked about this AI crowd projects and all. So I have also seen this in LinkedIn that you have done a lot of cool projects and internships, maybe. Yeah. So can you share the overall experience of what you have done?
I'm actually in crisis mode right now. If you ask me about like what am I going to do with machine learning and these gigs that I've had and what's going forward, because I don't know. Life is just right now. Life is taking a U-turn into marketing for some reason, and I'm like, what's happening? I was an ML dude yesterday, and so give you an overview. I was the first internship that I had. I was approached by this very kind gentleman named Vishal, and he didn't approach me for an internship. He said, "Hey Vyom, I see it was back in October last year, 2020 October, right? It had been almost 6 months that I'd started learning machine learning, less than 6 months, maybe 5 months or 4 months." And he was like, "I've seen your posts on LinkedIn, and I didn't like have a really large following or like interact. I didn't interact with a lot of people then. But he still found me. He's like, I want you to do a seminar on my platform, and I'll pay you 1,500 rupees." I was like, 1,500 rupees, Vyom. And my brain just went psych. It was like, hey, you weren't going to have those 1,500 rupees anyway. So what I'll suggest is that you ask him if there's a problem that you could solve using AI for him. And I asked him, is there anything I can help you with? He went like, what? Is there something that I can help you with? Let me think. What can you do? I feel that there are a lot of hate comments when seminars are going on. What if we built AI models to solve that problem, to filter out these hate comments? And he was like, let's hop on a call. And I hopped on a call. We talked for almost an hour, and then we decided, hey, Vyom, fine, I'll hire you. For the next 4 weeks, you're going to work on this project of creating an AI model that can target and grab hate speech. Like, yes, let's go. And again, the first internship I had literally was after I turned down an offer by the same man who eventually ended up hiring me. After that, the second, I actually had a previous internship offer as well from a startup, from a stealth startup. But they just rescinded because they felt like we already have a lot of people working and your skills are good, but we aren't looking for any people right now. And it was the first rejection I've ever had. And I went ahead after this first internship. The second one came into play, and I was like, what am I really doing with life? And I'm like, I have the skill. I know how to classify hate speech. That project, the previous project has been done. It's completed. It's finalized. So I thought, which social media platform has hate speech, and how can I solve it? Then comes into play Meraki. Meraki is an app. Is basically an app for poets to speak their words and like to speak and to basically write these beautiful poetic images and messages, right? And I was in touch with the co-founder, and I just asked her like, hey, why aren't you guys using GPT-3? And we had this full-blown conversation about how AI is going to replace these
Wait a
what we call
minute.
as chefs.
What was that? GP or something?
GPT-3.
What is that?
GPT-3.
Yeah.
GPT-3 is an AI model created by OpenAI. OpenAI is basically Elon Musk's
Elon Musk.
toy
Yeah,
project.
yeah.
Yeah. So not toy project. It is like one of his ventures, right? It's a non-government organization. It's an NGO, but they still profit somehow. They have like another division for profit, and their for-profit division released this massive model called GPT-3, which had like hundreds of billions of parameters, which is like crazy, which is massive. Like you can train it on your 4 gigabytes RAM laptop. I can do that at home. They train like models for like several days, months, and they created this massive AI model. And when it came time to release it to the public, they were like, no, 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 this model is too scary. It will be misused by people. It's too dangerous to release it. Like, fine. So they were giving out these beta programs, and we were talking about how to get access to these beta programs. And I was actually already in one of those beta programs. I had access to this GPT-3 model, and she was intrigued by it. So she ended up hiring me. We worked for 2 months, and yeah, we worked on algorithms around how to like catch hate speech, and then we worked on some AI models. But eventually, my project there was done as well. They had their model, and it was time for me to move on to something new. So then comes the part for the third internship. I think it started around when I was doing stuff with Meraki only, and they just approached me for being a community manager at AI Crowd, and I said yes, why not? So it was completely unrelated with ML, but the platform that they chose me to be a community manager of, they were an it's a platform that hosts ML challenges. AI Crowd is a platform that hosts ML challenges. So that was fun. The fourth internship I got, fourth or fifth, I don't know. I think it's the fourth one, right? The fourth one that I got was clearly via chance. I just mailed one of the founders saying that, hey, your platform is really cool. Can I help you with respect to hate speech? And this, I'm talking about Koo. Koo app is basically this app which came in Atmanirbhar apps,
Okay.
and was like promoted by Narendra Modi and stuff. So
Uh-huh.
it was a huge deal. It had like approximately 5.5 million users, and it was a Twitter rival. So I just felt, hey, these guys must have hate speech, and so I just hopped on, and yeah, so that was the
Oh
history
my
of my
God.
internship.
Like
I mean, it's always about
this.
asking. No one, see, the problem with people is that they want things handed to them. They don't want to go out there and ask. They just don't want to indulge with people. They want to sit there. They want to comment interested. And I'm not saying they're doing a wrong thing. I'm just saying it's not the most efficient thing, right? You can be
Yeah.
typing interested on 100 posts of recruiters. They might look into you, they might look at your resume, but at the end of the day, they aren't in personal touch, right? But when you
Yeah.
DM them, when you ask them, when you tell them that, hey, you have this problem and I'm here to solve it, things change. They care more about you. They give a shit that, this person wants to solve a problem, thus I will hire him, not because they sent me a resume. I'm not saying resumes are bad and whatever the other people are doing is bad. It's cool as well, but it's not the most efficient approach. Right.
Okay. Okay. So within a span of a year, maybe you did a lot of things. I'm like
Mhm.
highly inspired by you. Like I will also do some. I will also learn some things. I will also like approach in the way you have did. So I think you are the one of the coolest person I ever met on LinkedIn. I was
Thank
pretty
you, man.
astonished. I was pretty much astonished. Like when I got to know about, like you have around 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. That's
I
something to be.
haven't reached 10,000 followers yet,
Yeah,
man.
just okay. That is something.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9,500 something. Yeah, leave it. Just that is something to be proud of, man. You know, so how, when and how did it all begin? How did you found this app? Not found. How did you like explore this app, LinkedIn, and how did you think that I should post some content on it and things? What do you like, and also what
Okay.
do you like the most about LinkedIn?
Mm, so, how did I get started with LinkedIn? Well, Gary Vaynerchuk is this entrepreneur, this Belarusian American entrepreneur,
Mhm.
and you might have heard of him. He calls himself Gary V, and he's an Instagram
YouTuber.
influencer,
Acha,
yeah,
okay.
YouTuber,
Yeah, yeah.
and he has these motivational videos and stuff. I'm like, yeah, sure, Gary has a lot of those motivational videos, but when you cut through the bullshit and you find the actual gold, is where he talks about marketing. Like all these philosophies I have around marketing. Yes, I have read books on marketing. Yes, I've read books about around like consumer psychologies and stuff. But his approach is very best because it's genuine, it's authentic, and all he said was, "Hey, if you're watching this video right now, I want you to go ahead and make a LinkedIn account and post 5 times a day." I'm like, why? Because this will help you grow. I'm like, why would I do that? I had free time, so I just made a LinkedIn account. I did not use it for the first 3 months at all. And my first follower was my uncle who works at Medtronic. And yeah, I think I started like getting serious about LinkedIn in last. It was probably around October. Yeah, it was around October when I actually got serious. Like, hey, I have a couple of thousand followers, but that's fine by me. I'm not looking at those statistics. I'm not looking at how many followers or connections that I have. Initially, it was very charging. Like, when will I get 500 plus connections? I just wanted that little 500 plus connections over. And I'm like, yay, I have 500 plus connections. But what after it? There's no use to it. You're not using those connections. You're not talking to every single person. There's no use to it. So that's how it started. Gary Vaynerchuk said, "Go on LinkedIn." And I was a religious follower, so I just went on to LinkedIn, started posting about my projects, started talking to a shit ton of people, and they realized that we have had a great conversation, and eventually, slowly, I built a community. I do not know how it happened. I still can't digest the fact that I have this this really, really amazing, these awesome people in the community who interact with all sorts of stuff. I have to say, it could be about crypto, it could be about taxes or machine learning in general, and they're hopping into the conversation, and that's what I love, right? Connecting with people, talking to them. That's really fun. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's how I started LinkedIn. I had literally no intentions at all, but LinkedIn also brought me most of my internships.
Wow.
All of my internships, in fact.
Nice. Compelling. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. And one more thing I have observed, that you post a lot of content, cool content. Any post of yours is something
Thank you.
valuable, something I can learn from, I guess. Yeah. So how do you get this consistency? And how do you get the motivation to be consistent, basically? Yeah.
Mm,
What's your driving
well,
force?
I have no reason. I can leave everything. See, Ashwik, I can leave everything I have right now. I can deactivate my account and I will have no regrets whatsoever at all. Why? Because I'm in a stable place. I'm working at a company that absolutely adores everyone that works under them, and I'm talking about AI Cloud, of course. AI Cloud is a fantastic place to work. Honestly, it's just super cool, and I have everything in life. So if I cut things out, if I cut LinkedIn out completely, it wouldn't affect me. I'll just miss a lot of people I'm talking to every single day. I'll miss providing these list of courses to those people, and that would be something that I'll miss. But I won't regret starting all over again because I'd love to do that. So you'd
I
ask
agree.
me like, Vyom, what's your drive? Like, what makes you consistent? I'm just telling you right now. I don't
Okay.
have a goal inside. 10,000 followers is not a goal. 5,000 connections is never a goal. Or I don't know. Getting to talk on Ashwik's Canopy Pod is not the goal. But it's the process. It's like waking up every morning and say, hey, I saw that meme on Reddit. I'm going to post on LinkedIn and see it blow it up, and people laughing at it. Or hey, I realized that you can do machine learning even though you don't know maths. Sneaky little tip, but I don't suggest it. It's a bad idea, honestly. In the long term, it hurts you. But
Okay.
I found that idea. I posted. People get outraged. Yo, what are you telling them? I'm like, a secret tip, indeed. And those conversations. That's what drives me. The process drives me more than the end goal.
Great. So many of them nowadays, especially, do things to, like, don't want to give some value or something. They just want to showcase, increase their reach or something like that. But you are a little bit different. Not a little bit. You are like totally different. So, um, man, you are a 18-year-old, right?
Yeah, I'm 18 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. So machine
You haven't
learning.
missed my birthday yet. Don't worry.
So yeah, you are an 18-year-old machine learning developer. You are pretty much visible to many people on LinkedIn. In this pandemic situation, currently, what all are you doing? Anything new? Like,
Mm,
what are you working on?
I'm really into. I think that the prices of platinum are going to surge very soon. I'm into investing into. I have invested a few thousand rupees into platinum and palladium because ETFs, platinum and palladium ETFs. So I'd say that I've started to get interested into investing a little bit.
Okay,
I'm trying to learn more and more about crypto. I've like taken
awesome.
out chunks out of my day to learn about Ethereum, like how is it working. Am I in the early stage? I'm more interested in like getting to know about the use of Ethereum more than investing and seeing my money blow up. Right. So apart from that, what else do I do in the pandemic? I read a lot of books. I use audiobooks to save time sometimes. I I'm into weightlifting. I have like a set of weights in my cupboard, and I try to maintain consistency. I lift weights. I used to cycle, but now my cycle has given up on me because I think I took it too far. Yeah, I
Okay,
tried cycling at very, very high speeds in
cool.
the middle of the road, and the chain was like, dude, what the hell? And it just gave up on me. I have no
Okay.
idea. It's just lying there in the back. And I'm also business. I am also a business major. I am studying. BMS, Bachelor's in Management Studies, which sounds like almost like hotel management. And yeah, hotel management is cool, but BMS is cooler. BMS is more like an MBA kind of, a mini MBA kind of a course. It's a relatively
Okay.
new course in DU.
Mm-hmm.
You can gain entry into it via the simple entrance test called DU JAT. Like
You get, yeah.
it's fun, right?
Yeah.
And I'm doing. I don't have a majors really. I don't have a majors yet, and we study all sorts of stuff like organizational behavior, statistics, economics, and so on. I mean, I
Nice.
should have a basic idea of what's happening in college, and I try to have some. And yeah, so just doing all this stuff.
Cool, cool. So how is it going, like business majors, BMS and machine learning? How do you connect it? Like, you know,
You don't.
you
You
don't.
don't.
Acha,
You
okay.
don't. So, see, the thing
Mm-hmm.
about machine learning is that, I mean, think about all of these things like machine learning and community management, marketing, as well
Mm-hmm.
as my degree, is that they are not interconnected in any way. I could go ahead and take what, in my third year, I could switch my majors to marketing, and that would make sense. Yeah, right. This guy
Yep.
likes marketing, that's why
Yeah.
he is in marketing.
Cool.
And I'd say you don't have to have everything interconnected in your life that you went to a VMC in order to get into engineering, in order to get into an IIT, and now you're studying Python so that you can get a job 5 years later.
Agree.
I don't really see. I'm not going to give you that bullshit ideology of what if I'm dead tomorrow, because we all know that there's a pretty good chance of me surviving tomorrow and today, right?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I just don't know what I'm going to do in the next 6 months, what I'm going to do in the next year.
Interesting.
And a lot of people are not like, they just don't want to accept it. They just want to keep on working long term. Like, sure, go ahead, but in my opinion, I don't know what I'm doing. That's why I don't have anything connected. I'll just try a
Okay.
lot of things, see what works out.
Mhm. Nice. So what is this do dumb shit? I have watched it,
Hmm?
like I have seen it on your LinkedIn page,
Hmm?
the banner,
Yeah,
what you call it? Yeah.
it's a
Do
LinkedIn banner, right?
Acha, okay.
Yeah.
So what is it all
So
about? What is that? It sounds
I mean,
like
dude, I'm
do epic shit, that Ankur
uh-huh.
Variku's some
Yeah.
quote or something.
Me actually, I felt that a lot of people might think that I took it from him. I'm like, let's see, just do it. Taken. Just do taken by Will Smith's son. What was his name? Jaden Smith. He has his company Just Water, and that I think that's taken. And then
Okay.
I asked myself, do dumb shit isn't taken by anyone. Like no one has it. Do
Uh-huh.
epic shit is taken by Ankur
Ankur.
Warikoo. So
Yeah.
I'll just pick this up because no one owns it. So I just picked it up
Cool.
and yeah, that's
Cool.
how I did it.
Yeah. So you recently started your own podcast. What is it
Yeah.
about, and what's how how you actually set it up or something like that?
Okay, so I mean, I started my podcast with zero expectations. I wasn't like expecting any
Okay.
listeners to it, even though I
Mm-hmm.
might post about it every once in a while. I don't expect any
Mm-hmm.
listeners. It's
Okay.
just a repository of all these conversations I've had with these amazing people, right? See,
Yeah.
for example, you can be using this podcast to become a more knowledgeable person, like have a better
Exactly.
idea about
Yeah.
what other people are doing. And my main goal is to just have that perspective, like what do they think about the industry, or what do they think about where AI is going in the next few years. I've had Mr. Narendra Shukla. He is an amazing man.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the chief research officer at a startup incubator. And I've
Cool.
had my friend Siddharth. He is a product manager. I mean, he was a product manager at Redscape,
Okay.
and he's also like 19 years old. So we connect on that level. Like we can discuss like what's ahead, what does the
Mm-hmm.
industry expect from us. So that's really fun. He also works in IT, so that's fun. Using podcasts in order to educate yourself is the biggest flex.
Yeah.
You could be looking for users, you could be looking for listeners, and I'd
Uh-huh.
say don't look at the statistics. I mean, the last time I checked my last time I checked my Anchor app statistics was like
Uh-huh.
months ago. I stopped checking. I had no reason to check it. I'm like, it
Cool.
exists, but do I
Uh-huh.
really care about it? Is it the metric that I'm looking at? The metric I was looking at was one person. Talk to them. It
Mm-hmm.
helps you gain value that you can provide other people
Other
on
people.
LinkedIn later.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I just take gist of those conversations and put it up on LinkedIn as well. Like, hey, this person said this. Maybe you can use that. Providing value is fun. It feels satisfying to provide value.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one of the thing that scares the people is we are creating something like which would be smarter than us, and it will like replace us, like in some robot movies if we watch. So if you see, is that something we should concern about? Like, what's the power and future of AI and machine learning?
Honestly, I'm not the right person to answer this question. Thinking like, hey, what am I really doing? I mean, you are a machine learning engineer at a company. I mean, you should know about this stuff. Like, yeah, there are a lot of theories. Elon Musk says, hey, we all are going to die. Stephen Hawking said, hey, we all are going to die.
Yeah.
But Elon Musk has this beautiful ideology with respect to this. I know he does a lot of dumb shit. He pops up crypto stocks and then drops them for no good reason, and a lot of people lose their livelihoods. But and he's also a billionaire, evil billionaire CEO of Tesla. But he says that in order to survive AI, we have to be in a symbiotic relationship with it.
Okay.
One cannot function without the other, right? It's almost like the algae has no reason to eat up a whale because the algae gets exposure. I mean, that's not the right ideology, but all I'm saying is
Mm-hmm.
it's potato. Two symbiotic beings use each other to gain more strength.
Okay.
And I mean, there are a lot of theories, there are a lot of conspiracy theories, there are a lot of like useless scares, people being scared about what's going to happen with AI. But I'm just saying, if
Mm-hmm.
we are in a symbiotic relationship, just like Elon Musk said, we are pretty much safe.
Okay.
So he talks big about Neuralink, right? So you've heard of Neuralink, right?
Yeah.
So what they did was like they put chips inside of pigs' heads and their ears, and what they did was inserted these small wires into their brains electrodes. They inserted electrodes into the pigs' heads, and they gathered these electrical impulses, and they
Okay.
had them drawn over graphs, right? These 2D graphs, and then they trained deep learning models, these artificial intelligence models, to predict these graphs. Which
Okay.
means ki if a pig is walking, you can predict his function, what he's
Mm-hmm.
thinking, just by looking at the brain waves, the impulses that the brain is sending, and this way you could basically train a model and put it inside of a bionic limb, and that limb would be controlled by the pig's brain, because that AI model is being able to exactly accurately predict what the brain is thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really cool, and this way I'm saying they could start recreating themselves. They could start building massive weapons. AI could arm itself. Two AI chatbots can start talking to each other and decide that humanity is useless and kill everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But look at all the innovation happening around. It's crazy, the innovation happening just by accepting that we need to be symbiotic, right?
Yeah.
So another thing that really think hard is that artificial general intelligence is the shit, not artificial intelligence.
Okay.
I told you in the starting also that machine learning is stupid. It's awfully stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it does very specialized things. It tells you whether two peculiar SLF I'm just making up the names, of course. Pancreatic cancers. If this cell is actually a cancer cell or not, and
Mm-hmm.
fine. But can you pick that mug up for me and then write a check to my driver so that he can go ahead and put it into the bank? No, it
No.
can't.
No.
You can. We are not living in Marvel. We are not living in Iron Man's den, right?
Yeah.
That is the future, but it's not here yet. It will take decades for us to get there.
Okay.
You can predict housing prices, but that AI model can't predict mug unless these researchers, these massive researchers in MIT and these massive Ivy League universities go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and teach these little hands by using reinforcement learning. We are very far away from artificial and general intelligence, and that's where humans have the edge. We have common sense, they don't.
They do. Yeah. Exactly.
Plus, we
Wow.
also have we're consciously aware of our environment. Like we know that we exist, that there is an I. A computer doesn't think that at all. Yeah.
Okay, man, that was something interesting. So I would like to know about you more personally. But for now, I'm providing links to your LinkedIn and podcast and everything so that many people could know about you and your things. What you're doing right now is something like you're, for example, see me. I'm just, I was in this like 1 year. I wasted this 1 year like doing some useless things. Maybe yeah, some things have been good, but some things are like waste. Like so, when I saw your LinkedIn, I thought, man, he's cool. First of all, and second thing, I got to know that you do a lot of exploration kind of thing. Maybe if you are
Yeah, I
thinking about
do.
something, I personally guess that you will Google that and how it works. You will get to know how it works, like what all happens behind the screens and stuff. That's something amazing. So yeah, any signing off notes to the listeners you would like to?
I'd say that if you feel that you've wasted time, don't be harsh on yourself. I mean, you're being very harsh on yourself, man. Don't be harsh on yourself, because if
Okay.
you are being harsh on yourself right now for wasting time, your body, your brain will automatically start to punish you for wasting time instead of rewarding you for working. You'll be more focused on not wasting time, instead being more focused on making sure that your time is rightly utilized. Do you get me? It's like,
Yeah.
how we give a person two choices, the carrot and the stick. Like, I'll hit you with a stick. And the other choice is, if you do this, I'll give you a carrot. If you don't, I'll hit you with a stick. So our brain has like always has these two choices and has to pick from one. If we are being too harsh on ourselves from wasting time, well, we're focusing more on the stick. I'm saying focus more and more on the carrot
Damn it. Okay.
and do shit. Just do things. Yeah,
Fine. Awesome.
awesome.